ladies and gentlemen, exemplifies the belief in hard work and taking responsibility for the course that your life may or may not take. Perhaps, ladies and gentlemen, we should or could be the masters of our own fate. So, therefore, welcome our delightful speaker, Miracle Shawani, author, trainer, facilitator, to speak to us on the topic of fear, which will link up with his recently published book, which will be available for sale after the session has closed. So, put your hands together and welcome Miracle Shawani to talk to the topic of fear.
Thank you so much, Irene. What do you do? Handshake, fist, bump, elbow? All right. Thank you, Irene. Can you please give Irene a round of applause? I have this now. Let me just put it here.
Won't you give it to me?
All right. Awesome. You guys didn't hear what Irene just said. She said I must try and behave myself. Whatever that means, I hope I will behave. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. How many of you know of kids? Have you ever heard of kids? Children. Have you ever heard of children? You know children? What are some of the characteristics of babies? I mean, just shout it out. No fear. What else? Noisy. Hard work. Sorry? Dependent. Demanding. What else? They cry a lot. And what else? I want something exciting about kids. What makes them enjoyable? Energetic, imagination, adventurous, love. How about teachable? How about they learn fast? How about they are always excited? How about they like to play? How about they're enthusiastic about everything that they do? So that's a kid, right? We all agree that kids behave like that. So I have a question for you. When we grow up and get to this age, where did that kid go? Do you remember you, the kid, the baby? What happened to it? Sorry? Life. What happened to the baby? Responsibility. And what else? Where's the baby? Remember when we were once babies, right? You were once a baby as well, were you not? Or maybe you just appeared. I doubt. So the point I'm trying to drive, ladies and gentlemen, is that all of us, we started from the energetic, joyful, fun, enjoyable, loving, and we loved to play. That was who we were. But when we grow up, that didn't change. The baby didn't die and you appeared. The baby is there, it's the foundation. Just like this building. We only see the walls, the roof, and everything that's here. But is the foundation dead? The foundation is still there, right? So that means we are also still babies somewhere inside of us. Is that right? So the baby is somewhere inside of us, right? Today, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to that baby. That's who I'm here for. The babies that are in each and every one of us. Not the old people. The old people are boring. The old people don't have energy. And that's not these people here. These people are the babies that I want to talk to. Do I have babies in the house? Do I have babies in the house? Yes, that's the energy I want. So come on, my babies. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, and you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Great. Now let's try this. Can I get some of the babies who can to just stand up, just slightly? Just want you to stretch a little bit of those knees. Just a little bit. Yeah, those babies are standing. I like those babies. If you can, little babies. Come on, children. Come on, kids. Time to play. Are we ready to play? Yes. We need to get the baby out. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, and you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, do like this. If you're happy and you know it, do like this. If you're happy and you know it, and you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know it, do like this. If you're happy and you know it, say hooray! If you're happy and you know it, say hooray! If you're happy and you know it, and you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know it, say hooray! Give yourself a round of applause, little baby. Woo! You may sit down. These are the people I came here for. The little ones, not the old ones. So I'm going to be talking with the little ones today. How you doing, baby girl? Ah, I like your eyes, baby girl. Nice one. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Miracle Jawane. Miracle. It is a miracle. Is it not? So when I was born, or before I was born, my father was a pastor. And my mother happened to be the pastor's wife. And they got pregnant. And there was me inside, before the name Miracle. And something mysterious happened. As I was still in my mother's womb, my mother had a dream one time. And the dream was this very strange dream, where this old man was sent to come and kill the child in her tummy. So he came in a form of giving my mother something to drink, which looked like blood. And he forced my mother to drink. He's like, drink this. We want to kill that baby. In the dream, my mother was like, no, I'm not going to do that. The man forced my mother. And there were people chanting behind the man, make her drink, make her drink. My mother was like, I'm not going to drink in the name of Jesus. I'm not going to drink in the name of Jesus. She fought so hard until she was able to wake up. And when she woke up, she had so much pain. She thought I died. She woke my father up, who was next to her. She's like, something is painful. Please pray for me. My father got up and prayed for my mother. And she was able to sleep after that. Woke up in the morning, told my father the story. My father was like, what? Wow, thank God. And on another occasion, they were sleeping. She got another dream. And in that dream, a voice came to her. The child you have is going to be called Miracle. And that was Mahori in my Tonga language. She woke up in the morning, she told my father, hey, I had a dream. In the dream, a man and a voice came. And they said, the child we have is going to be named Mahori. My dad was like, that is Miracle in English. Good shot. We have a miracle in the family. And guess what? Today on my ID book, I've got Mahori, Miracle, which means one thing, but it's two different names, all put in my ID. And that's how I came to be the miracle that you see today. And through the course of my life, I can say, yes, I have modeled what my name means. The recent miracle that happened is I was able to publish this book called The 5 Rand University. Yeah, intriguing. It's a miracle. But in this book, I got to explore a lot of my potential. And some of the lessons that are in this book are what we're going to be talking about today. And that is fear and becoming the person that you are meant to be. The name of my book is The 5 Rand University, the ultimate guide to the person you are meant to be. And you would wonder, what do I know about fear? But before we get there, here's the topic of the speech today. Overcome fear and gain confidence in who you are meant to be. It's adopted from the 5 Rand University. Fear. What comes to your mind when you think fear? I'm talking to babies today, so just be happy to shout it out. When I say fear, what comes to mind? Worry. Sorry? Panic. What comes to mind? Doctors. Oh, darkness. I thought you said doctors. Yeah, that can be scary too. What else? Anxiety. The unknown. Helplessness. The feeling of being stuck in one place. Can't move. You can't go front, you can't go back. You're stuck in one place. Different kinds of fear torment our lives on a day-to-day basis, but the biggest question is, what is fear? Many people say fear is false evidence appearing real. You know about that? I do also know about that, and I subscribed to that for quite a while. But just quite recently, I was like, as much as that is good, and it can be motivating for a few minutes or seconds, I don't think it's a very good depiction of what we're trying to solve here. Because why do you say it's a false evidence appearing real? Okay, fine, it's false evidence appearing real, but the feeling is I'm scared. Is that not the case? I'm scared to move forward because I'm scared. So how do we address the fear? What is the fear? So I've come to realize that we cannot solve a problem if we avoid the problem and act like the problem does not exist, because it will just defeat the purpose of you solving the problem if you don't want to isolate the problem. So the real answer is that fear is real. When you feel it, you feel it. You are not crazy. And it's okay to feel the feelings of anxiety, because that is what you are feeling. And that is part of becoming a human being. You feel these things. There was COVID. We were scared. There's the war in Russia and Ukraine. It's scary. And the reality is, it exists. It is not false. But we don't get stuck there. How do we solve the issue of fear? Because at the end of the day, it's disempowering. We don't want to stay in fear. We want to move from the fear. Is that right? So, what are you really scared of? It's very important for you to ask yourself, what exactly am I scared of? Perhaps it's death. What if I die? What if that? So it's important. There's different types of fear that we come across and we face on a day-to-day. It can be the fear of being judged. How will these people think of me when I come as a young boy? Tell them to stand up and dance if you're happy and you know with up your hands. What if they don't stand up? What if they look at me and they, this little boy? The fear of what are people going to say? The fear of what if I'm boring? What I'm going to give this speech today at this young kid's home, and then when I look at me, they say that was boring. Does that mean I don't come here? The fear of being irrelevant, the fear of making mistakes, the fear of being wrong. What if the information I'm telling you is wrong? Or the fear of offending people. What if by the end of this speech, all these young kids hate me? What if? It's possible. And the answer is yes, that is true. If it's a fear that I'm feeling, I'm scared, I have to accept that. But it's important to isolate the fear, to define the fear. What is it? It's like going to the doctor and say, "Doctor, I'm in pain, I'm sick." And the doctor says, "What's wrong?" "Doctor, I don't know, I'm just sick." Doctor is like, "How do I help you?" "Help me get healed, I'm sick." The doctor says, "What is wrong?" "I don't know, doctor, I just don't understand myself." Do you think you're going to get a solution? No, you're confusing the doctor. So it's important to isolate and define, what is it that I'm scared of? For a very long time, I was scared of people's judgment. Because growing up as a pastor's kid is not an easy job, ladies and gentlemen. I know people complain of different jobs, working in the mine, working as a policeman, working as a doctor for long hours. Being a pastor's kid? Ooh, how many pastor's kids do we have in the house? One. She knows what I'm talking about. I shared the same disease. It was painful, ladies and gents. The fear of what are people going to say when they see me walking with a young girl, when I'm still young. "Oh, pastor's kid, now you are dating?" The fear of going to a club and being seen by your church members who are also at the club. It was very devastating. So I grew up with a fear of doing things that really defined who I am. I wasn't able to be myself because I was living for other people. So when you get to that point of defining what exactly do you fear, you have to take it a further level. Interrogate the fear. Where does it come from? That is the question you need to ask yourself. I'm telling you now about being a pastor's kid who was scared of people's judgment. For a long time, I didn't know why I'm scared of execution. Until I started interrogating the fear. Where does it come from? That's a very good question to ask. So, my story of fear. Long time back, when I was still a kid, not about your age, I was very naughty. Because as a pastor's kid, the pressure of people's judgments and all of the things that I was getting, the spotlight, it made me turn into being a mischievous young man. That was my coping mechanism. I thought, to cope with this pressure, let me just be naughty, let me just be a clown. So I became naughty, I was very naughty. They wouldn't leave me at home all by myself. One day, they forgot that very important tool of not leaving me home alone. And they left me home alone with my two younger sisters. But that was around the same time when I was busy contemplating on driving my mother's Kumbi. Because every time I got in the car, I would watch my mother drive the Kumbi, and I was like, it's a very small Kumbi, a small Suzuki. As she's driving there, I'm like, this thing is small, I'm also small. It's meant for me, we are meant for each other. I can drive this thing. So when I look at my mother driving, I saw her just fiddling around a few pedals, changing gears. This looks easy. You just turn the wheel. Quite easy. Then we arrive. Cool, I'm going to drive this. One day is one day. I'm going to drive this. But because everyone here at home thinks I'm young and I can't drive, I'm just not going to tell anybody about my plan. I will do it all by myself at my time. And this one day, they left me home alone with my two younger sisters. As I was walking out the door, I looked at the hand for the keys. I saw the keys for the Kumbi. Good shot! This is the day that the Lord has made. I am to rejoice and drive the Kumbi. I took the keys, off I went outside. Over the fence, I called my friend, Prince. Hey, Prince! Prince! He's like, yeah, come over, fast! Prince came running. He got me arrived. What's the story? Say no more, my friend. We are driving. Kidding. I'm like, shut up, we are driving. He's like, oh, what? Let's go. Took the keys, we went to the Kumbi. When we got to the Kumbi was parked right in the door of the garage. And I'm like, my friend, let's avoid all obstacles around and just minimize the dangers. We're just gonna push the car out and we're gonna drive it when it's out of the garage. He's like, good idea, man. I didn't know you were so smart. I'm like, hey, you don't know, man. We pushed the Kumbi out of the door. As it was standing in front of the door, we're like, now it's time to drive this thing. Cool. I get into the driver's seat, take the key into the ignition. As I switch it on, doesn't go on. All right. I know they usually touch a few things here before they start the car. So let me do it. I've been studying this thing for a while. I know how to drive this thing. I go in front, I touch a few things. All right. Now when I look at the dashboard, the car is on. Cool, my friend. We are ready to drive. Are you ready? Like, I'm ready. Fasten the seatbelt, my friend. We are up to no good now. You fasten the seatbelt, I fasten the seatbelt. You see, safety first, it's important. Very important. Fasten the seatbelt. Are you ready? He's like, I'm ready. In 3, 2, 1. We crashed into the wall of the garage. It came crumbling down. Yeah. And there we are, the two young boys don't know what to do with themselves. We are scared. Prince is about to cry. Wait, we don't have time to be scared, my friend. Let's fix the mess. We get off the car, we try and push it just a little bit out where the chaos was, and we just positioned it well when we found it. But the garage was broken down. We are traumatized. My two younger sisters came running because the sound was very loud. What's happening? Shh, baby girl, nothing is wrong. You go back into the house, you don't know what happened. They're like, okay. They went back into the house. Off I went with Prince to play. We disappeared. Later on, my parents came back, and the first thing they see is the chaos. Woo! Ladies and gents, what happened to me that day is a story for another day. Is that okay? Thank you for understanding. But that's where my life turned around. Not for the good, for the worse. Because from that traumatic experience, I got stuck. I was not the fully expressive human being that I was growing up. I was not the joyful, bubbly, highly opinionated young boy that I was. Because I was shut down by my inability of making good decisions. When I make decisions, things go bad. When I take initiative, I end up in a more deadly situation than I was before I made it. So I found myself to be a very reserved young boy at school. When we do group assignments, I was just the one to agree with everybody. Because if I come up with a solution or suggestion, what if we fail? Because remember, I once crashed into my mother's garage. So what if I decide to take action and things go bad? So I went on with this distorted character just because of the experience that I was once involved in, making wrong decisions, not trusting myself. I didn't believe myself to do anything productive, so I just continued being that joyful, playful young man who will never do anything serious. Because when I do something serious, things go bad. And that is where my fear came from. And where my fear came from, it kept me stuck for a very long time. I wasn't able to move forward. And that is why I'm coming to you today, ladies and gentlemen, to say, what is it that caused your fear? Remember, the first step was to interrogate your fear. What is it? Is it shyness? What caused it? Well, my fear of being scared of taking action because what if people judge me came from my inability to make the right